Peace, boxing fans. Thanks for pressing play on another Bite Down Boxing video. Again, this is an extension of the Bite Down Boxing podcast. I just want to say Happy New Year to anybody that presses play on this. And, I hope everybody had a great holiday season. I did not get into a podcast this week, may not do one this week. The boxing calendar is a little quiet at the moment, but along with a lot of the different YouTube channels and podcasts and Sirius XM boxing, a lot of people and the magazines or ESPN.com, Ring magazine, it's award season for boxing. And as a one-man operation for BDB, it's kind of difficult to, keep all of that stuff in mind as I'm scrambling throughout the year to do what I can do. So I just had one award. I don't really disagree with any of the awards that I heard out there, but I just had one award. Kind of with how I follow the game is not from the top down. But, I really like the action more so in the middle and the fighters that are on the come up. So one fight that stood out to me, I guess I'm going to coin this as the Career Reset Performer or Performance of the Year award. Obviously, I could say Tyson Fury, lineal heavyweight champion Tyson Fury. I could say that with his performance against WBC heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder. But I believe he was given the Comeback Fighter of the Year award. So that should be good enough for him. This is the Career Reset Performance of the Year. And although there may have been a couple others out there that that I overlooked, but one of the fights in one of my favorite divisions, junior middleweight, my winner would be Julian J. Rock Williams. And I will give him this award. I'll put that in the mail this week. This award comes for his April 7th, 2018 IBF eliminator win against Chicago's Nathaniel "No Problem" Gallimore. This fight was on the undercard of the Super Welterweight unification fight, Islandi Lara versus Jarrett Hurd. I believe that was the WBA and IBF titles that were on the line that night in Las Vegas at the Hard Rock Hotel. And I just think it was it was like I said, a career reset or resetting performance for Julian Williams. Why? Let's get into that. J-Rock entered the fight 24-1-1 with 15 KOs. Gallimore came into the fight 21-1 with 17 KOs. J-Rock came into this fight looking for a second shot at a world title, the first being a fifth round knockout versus IBF champion Jermall Charlo in December of 2016. Gallimore was emerging as a no-nonsense dark horse junior middleweight with great power, or good power. He'd stopped Justin DeLoach in 5 rounds of one-sided action in July of 2017. DeLoach was dropped in rounds 1 and 2 before the TKO in the 5th round. Now, J-Rock was coming off of a win versus veteran division or versus veteran fighter Ishe Smith. But because it went the distance, Smith was a little longer in the tooth. Maybe it didn't give J-Rock the boost that, you know, a knockout would have given, or just that a knockout would have given him or provided. And then here's Gallimore just coming along, like I said, with clearly putting out or devastating one of, you know, the rising stars in the PBC stable in Georgia's Justin Deloach. So on fight night, and then if you remember leading up to this fight, a lot of bad blood, a lot of tough talk between these guys in the between Williams and Gallimore in the press conferences, and you know, that was kind of what transpired between Gallimore and Deloach. So you know, this was a fight that I was keeping an eye on. J-Rock opened the bout with a strong, busy left jab that set up some punishing body work through the opening rounds, and this gradually nullified Gallimore's you know, power punching, who decided not to work behind his own jab. So with the exception of a brief wobble by Williams, or a brief wobble of Williams near the end of the 4th or 5th round, J-Rock was in control of the action for most of the night. J-Rock just exhibited that he was a better, we knew that he had more tools, you know, in his toolbox going into this. It was just a matter of us seeing him getting knocked out by Charlo, that, you know, there was some questions or some thoughts that maybe, you know, Gallimore could just make it a physical fight and just make it a brawl and maybe get J-Rock out of there. But Gallimore was not prepared for Williams inside fighting or infighting. So that was the middle of the fight, was kind of J-Rock carrying the action inside, and then he exploded it in the 11th round, landing a powerful left hand that he followed up with a series of punishing combos that nearly closed the show. When it was all over, at the end of the fight, one judge scored the fight 114-114, but the other two cards were clearly in Williams' favor. 116-112 and 117-110. As expected, Williams did not get the immediate bout with IBF champion Jarrett Hurd, who on that same night added the WBA belt to his resume with his split decision victory over Erislandy Lara. However, a Hurd-Williams bout is now being negotiated as Hurd's homecoming title defense that he's been pushing for the last 6 to 8 months. So, like I said, this was a career resetting fight for J-Rock, and one of my favorite performances of the year. Obviously, you could see that if he would have lost that fight and had to get back in line per se, he wouldn't be in the position that he is now to be getting this second opportunity, you know, with the chance to become a unified champion. I would imagine if the fight is finalized between him and current IBF and WBA champion Jarrett Hurd. So like I said, we can sit here and argue and get caught up and follow what's not happening in some of the marquee fights, i.e., you know, Anthony Joshua versus WBC champion, heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder, or Joshua versus Tyson Fury potentially. You know, you can stay there with how you follow this game. But like I said, there's other action throughout boxing that's intriguing and worth keeping an eye on. And like I said, J-Rock is definitely one of the fighters who is easy to root for and support. And like I said, had he been stopped April 7th versus Nathaniel Gallimore, certainly he would be looking at an uphill battle right now. And as cold as we are among the fans of boxing, he just would have been a guy that was easy to write off as having 2 losses and then possibly being stopped once or twice. So this is a great situation to see a young man reclaim where he was going. As you know, if you saw the fight with Charlo, he was doing very well up until that 5th round, having some good success boxing Charlo until that fight was stopped. So he made the return bout against Joshua Conley, I believe was that young man's name. Then like I said, the tough fight with Ishe Smith, and then this fight right here, April 7th, with Nathaniel Gallimore. So again, that's my career reset performance of 2018. I would give that to Julian J. Rock Williams, the only award that the Bite Down Boxing Podcast is going to have for last year. Hey, please hit that subscribe button. If you liked any of this, please hit that like button. That's very important. And, come back and rock with the channel in the future. Again, this is Wood. As I end all of the podcasts, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. I'm out. 1.